Hello again, YouTube land. This is the After the Storm recording. We are in a part of Queens that counts as like Zone D, so we didn't have to evacuate. We also didn't really have to do much of anything because throughout the storm we got one or two occasions where the lights flickered, but nothing went out. And we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose heat, we didn't lose hot water, we didn't lose electricity, internet, cable, phone, nothing. All of our amenities decided not to abandon us. I also know it wasn't too terrible where we were because the cat didn't have a horrific reaction to the sound of the storm. She just slept most of the time, as she's doing now. My sister, Heather, who lives in Virginia, reports all is well. Her son Johnny obviously didn't have school for a while and probably doesn't today and tomorrow either. But Halloween in New York wasn't explicitly canceled, but may as well do, because it's epic. We need to stop making comparisons between Irene and Sandy, because we got blasted easily 3 or 4 times harder than Irene. Easily. So, you know, that's not apples to apples. The real thing for me this week is that with the subways closed, New York, for all intents and purposes, shuts down. And because of the magnitude of the storm we were expecting and the storm we went through, and by extension the magnitude of the cleanup that now has to occur, it's rough, because even in Zone D, where we are, you have to account for the ripple effect. It's a series of dominoes, because there are plenty of people who live in what are referred to as the outer boroughs, Queens, Staten Island, that rely on the MTA to get to their everyday lives, that rely on them to get to work. So Sam wasn't able to get to work. Now the problem there is twofold, because the first couple of days he couldn't get to work because the MTA was shut down. The second and third day, it was compounded by the fact that he found out his particular location has no power, and he works in the basement as internet customer service. So there's multifaceted crap kind of response when you hear that information. Now ordinarily, I would think most people, they find out they have 3 or 4 days off of work they weren't expecting. They're happy. They can stay home. They can go for a little trip. They can spend time with their family or their pets, or doing, you know, whatever personal nerd venture they want to. I looked forward to the fact that Sam would have at least a day off. I was surprised when he had 2 days off. And by the third day off, my interest in him being home with us really kind of waned. Not because I didn't want to spend time with him, and not because I wasn't glad he was able to stay home with us and, you know, help me do some cleaning and this, that, and the other thing. It was primarily because by the third day he couldn't get to work. He was pissing me the hell off. He really was. He was pissing me off, because Sam is a workaholic. He's also prone to paranoia and anxiety in certain respects, and he doesn't handle change well. So if his routine is that Monday through Friday he's at work, and you tell him that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday he can't go to work, he doesn't take it so well. He doesn't handle it very well. Even if I give him other things to do, like clean or read, or, you know, we had a friend over to play a bunch of nerd board games one afternoon, it's not enough for him. It's a change to the routine. It's a problem, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. Being that I don't work, it's difficult for me to really say anything about what you should do when you have extra time off of work. But the truth of the matter is that I did work consistently for quite a few years. I spent the better part of 8 years consistently working before I moved back to New York, and then it became a problem. So I do know what it's like to have that kind of hectic full-time schedule, and when you get the extra time off, I know what it's like to enjoy it and want to make the most of it. But when it's suddenly thrust upon you unexpectedly, such as it was this week, the best of intentions pave the road to hell. On the upside, Governor Cuomo has decided that yesterday, today, and tomorrow, the MTA will not be charging. So the buses, the subways, I think Metro North and LIRR are all free. I know the buses and the subway are. And I would be out doing more things today, except apparently they've decided in my building today is also the day to do all the repairs on the elevator that they didn't get done before the storm hit. So, it's going to have to wait for my quote-unquote day off tomorrow. But assuming the elevator is running fine tomorrow, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the subways and buses are supposed to be free. Because when you have to pinch pennies as hard as we do, you take advantage of it. The other thing I'm really working on is knitting and crochet projects. I'm trying to teach myself some crochet stuff. Because there are things I can make by crocheting that I could make by knitting, but not as easily. And from everything I'm watching in my research on YouTube, etc., not as quickly. And if what you're doing is creating knit and crochet projects for money, for commission work, speed's a pretty important factor. So, pardon me, I just finished lunch. So I'm gonna go work on that, and hopefully it comes to something, me doing these knitting projects. I started working on one thing for the same client, and then I heard from them like, oh my god, can you make me a never-ending scarf, an infinity scarf? Sure, because I had one way of making it in my head, and then I did the research about making it with crochet method, and it seems like it's going to be a lot easier and a lot faster while producing a similarly high-end product. So I need to go try and teach myself some crochet stuff, but I taught myself how to use a loom for hats and stuff. I taught myself how to use a loom for shawls and scarves, both of which happened because there was bad weather. And I'm relatively confident I can teach myself this. I even happen to have a couple of crochet hooks my sister Faye gave me. So maybe I'll get around to actually making something for my sister, which was the reason she gave them to me in the first place that I haven't gotten to yet. Lots to do in the life of a housewife. So hopefully wherever you are, the weather isn't that bad, or the worst of it has passed. And as is often the case most days of a human life, cleanup is required.